WLZR, W300DL Melbourne.
It's time to talk sports. Now from the Fan Studios in Melbourne, it's the Mark Moses Show on Sports Radio 1560 The Fan. You can be a part of the conversation at 321-984-1234. Now here's your host, Mark Moses.
Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed to a Tuesday edition of the Mark Moses Show, only right here on Sports Radio 1560 The Fan. I am back from a short vacation last week, and now we are back to talk some football. That's right. High school is back. College is now back. NFL starts in 2 days, my friend. Oh, I can't wait. It's a great time of year. We need to do some type of burial service for all those college football preview magazines that I was reading over the last couple of months. Once we get to the season, I hope this, and this is going to happen. It's over. We played football games. We did. And I loved every single minute of it. Even though I was in Chicago, I was still checking out football games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, non-stop. And like I said, now we're going to have NFL football on top of that. Oh, I love this time of year. And let's start with this. Let's just get it right out of the way. McKenzie Milton, you win this round, my friend. When you talk about, great stories in the state of Florida all time, who won the weekend? Oh, it's double M. It's McKenzie Milton. The fact that he got in that football game, went down the field, scored a touchdown, then gets the ball back, gets the tying field goal, and they had a chance to win in overtime. Awesome. I remember being at the first game he got into. I was with my buddy Alan. We're at the bounce house. It's 2016. That team was not good. But I remember they're like, hey, we got this guy, McKenzie Milton. And he kind of came in, played a couple snaps, did a little thing. And, you could see, hey, maybe something's here. Then it kept growing and growing. In 2017, he led the number one offense in all of college football to a undefeated season, 13-0, national champions. 18, another regular season number one offense. And then he gets hurt there in Tampa on a Black Friday against South Florida. Hurts the knee, hurts the leg, and he has not played in, Was it 18 and 19, that's one, 19 and 22, 20, so 3 years. See, I could do that fifth grade math, baby. It's been a couple years, and he got back out there. I think nationally, I don't think people realize how long it was. I think there's a lot of people that saw that game on Sunday night there in Tallahassee at Doak, where they're like, oh, yeah, well, that guy's been out for a while. No. I've covered that story and talked about it and rooted for that guy. It was awesome. And he got out there, and you could tell his legs are not the same. They're not. His knee and leg were destroyed. The fact that he got out there is a miracle. And I know the announcers did a good job on ABC, but if you missed it, I'm going to say this right now. Doctors, nurses, his family, all the people behind the scenes, science, saved that guy's leg, and he's out there and he got another chance. I can't stress that enough. It is a really cool story. It is. I feel bad that he did not get to finish his career at UCF. They had to move on. They couldn't sit around and not have a quarterback for a couple years. They couldn't do that. So Florida State gave him a chance, and honestly, in the moment, I was like, why is McKenzie not starting? Why did he transfer to Florida State and then sit on the bench to watch Jordan Travis play? What's up with that? And I was putting that on Twitter. I was like, put in Milton. And he only got in the game because I think Jordan Travis, who at times looked good and other times looked bad, where I think his helmet got knocked off and he was playing erratic. So he said, just put in Milton after a while. That was electric. That really was. That was my favorite game of the weekend. Even though Notre Dame won, It was awesome. It was awesome to see. And you could tell with Milton, there's progress there. Florida State was making mistakes, turning the ball over. They did not play clean, but you could tell Mike Norvell in year 2. You can see there's progress there. That's why Nebraska is so angry at Scott Frost in year 4. They're not showing the progress. There were moments in that game where you're like, okay, maybe Florida State can right the ship. Are they going to win the national title? No. Are they going to win the ACC? Probably not. But there's progress there. That's what makes it exciting. And they should have won that game. Heck, if that was week 4 where Milton and Jordan Travis got a couple weeks to really get reps in, they blow out Notre Dame. I'm sorry, they blow them out. But we constantly talk about in this state, we talk about the legacy of Tebow and guys like, Warren Sapp, Deion Sanders. You could say Bobby Bowden, who they honored at the game, and his legacy. And I'm telling you, Spurrier and Danny Werfel, and you can go on in those like 80s Miami Hurricanes team. And this state has a great, great history and tradition of great football at the college level. It really does. McKenzie Milton, the fact that he got back out there, that needs to be up there as one of the great stories in the history of college football in the great state of Florida. The fact that he got back out there, it's so motivating. The idea that he didn't give up and he had to rehab. And I know there's rumblings where he missed a lot of practices in August just trying to make sure he could get back out there. Well, he got back out there. And if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what else does. Because I bet you there's a lot of haters out there who are like, you should give up, save your leg, don't try it. You had a good run, don't worry about it. No, he kept going. And you got to give credit to UCF for letting him rehab, letting him go where now he's at Florida State. Give credit to Florida State for giving him a chance. It's just awesome. I don't want to be one of these, Disney Channel, I'll get teary-eyed, but that's a great story. It is. It gets me so motivated, and I'm excited to see what he can do. And if you're Florida State, you still got Jordan Travis. I think there's something there also. I think he just got to keep getting more reps, and I think he's going to figure it out. So I loved what I saw. I really did. That's a great story. And they should have beaten Notre Dame. They should have beaten them. And it's funny, my dad, he called me up. He's like, well, what'd you think of Notre Dame? I go, it's a perfect Notre Dame team. This is what Brian Kelly does. They're going to get to 10 wins. Hey, maybe they get to 11-1. Maybe they get to 12-0. And then they're going to get thrashed in the playoff again. They're a good team, Notre Dame. They're not a great team. They're good enough to run the table. They'll get to the playoff and they'll get their heads blown in. And I'm trying not to be like Brian Kelly type jokes here. They're going to get their heads bashed in. Maybe that's the better term to use there. But Notre Dame is great in primetime. If you love them, if you hate them, they're a great team. They're like the Cowboys, the Lakers, the Yankees. It's great. I love seeing Notre Dame in primetime. And when they're in a close game, that is exciting. That really is. So I love that game. Now let's go to UCF. I was not on the air last Friday. They played a game, which I think took, 8 hours after a while with the 3-hour rain delay. Yeah, that was a long time. They got down 21-0. They came back. They won at about 1:30 in the morning, beating Boise State. Great win. But here's the problem. And I thought about this. Friday night, my brother and I, we were watching some of Northwestern Michigan State. And it's two just, average to mediocre Big Ten teams. And neither of these teams are going to compete to win the Big Ten. Maybe Northwestern will back their way into the title game in Indianapolis. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe. What really saddens me when I leave Florida and then I see it from afar, here in Central Florida where it's like all UCF fans, right? It's a huge alumni base. All these people root for UCF, which is awesome. I like that the program's growing. But when I'm watching a little Michigan State Northwestern, my first thought was like, UCF would kill both these teams. I'm not kidding around. UCF with Dylan Gabriel in that offense, and now with Gus Malzahn, they would destroy Michigan State Northwestern, kill them both by 2 or 3 touchdowns. And I feel like, it feels bad for me to say this, but it's like UCF doesn't play big boy football. They can go play all these different teams. BYU, Boise State. Oh, we got this big game against Cincinnati. After a while, and I've been covering the team for years, I'm just at the point, they don't play big boy football. They don't play games that matter towards the college football playoff. They don't. I've known this for years, but it finally, it just kind of came to the top there for me, where it's like, this stupid Northwestern Michigan State game in the Big Ten where neither team can move the ball, that game matters more towards the playoff than UCF in whatever game they're playing. And that's why I'm at the point where it's like, you got to join a real conference. And I know there's rumblings and people have sources saying that it's going to happen later this week, where UCF is going to join the Big 12. It's going to be them. It's going to be Houston, Cincinnati, and BYU. They're going to join it to solidify that conference, and they're going to be in the Power 5. And I think that's awesome, because I think it's time. I think they've outgrown the American. I think they've outgrown being in the, a group of 6, whatever it's called. I'm ready. I'm really excited. I think this is really cool. From 2016, where you lose George O'Leary, you're coming off 0-12. You get Scott Frost. You get McKenzie Milton. You start recruiting. You then go 13-0. Then Frost leaves you. You get Josh Heupel. You have another regular season that goes undefeated. Then Milton gets injured. You're in a big bowl game with LSU. Should have won that game. Then you have a down year. It's like, then another 9-3 year. You lose Heupel. Now you got Gus Malzahn. It took 5 years. All this, you lose the athletic director. You say you're the national champions. All these crazy headlines are going on in the last 5 years. And they kept winning football games. They kept winning. And it solidified them as a real program. Where it's like, okay, you know what? If a big conference starts calling, they're going to look at UCF, and now they're going to get the invite. It was all worth it. I know it's like you want to have big bowl wins and you want players drafted. That's cool and all. This is the ultimate for UCF. This is going to be really cool if it happens, and I hope it does. They were winning football games consistently over the last 4 or 5 years, and they became a program that is now ready to go to a real conference. That's what gets me excited about UCF. That's what I like. They're going to do it. And I think we should all celebrate. That's going to be really cool. It really is. It's not the SEC. It's not the ACC. But if you're a UCF fan, you are going to a big boy conference. Now, is there going to be Texas and Oklahoma? No. Are there going to be growing pains where you're going to have to recruit differently? And some of these other programs in the Big 12 have more depth and might be bigger, stronger, and faster? Yeah, there's going to be a learning curve here. But that's what's going to make it exciting. And think about it. If you're UCF, all right, you're going to take on, just think about this, West Virginia, Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Baylor. Those are some cool games, man. I'm excited to go to those games. I know it's going to take a couple years, but that is just going to change everything. And then, here in Melbourne, it's like, okay, you want to see big boy football? 3 hours to Gainesville, 5 hours to Tallahassee. Miami, 3 hours south to go see big boy college football. Sorry I have to say it like that. That's what it's going to be. Now it's going to be right in your backyard. No traffic from Melbourne. You can get to the stadium in less than an hour. Now parking, that's another story. Right in your backyard. Big boy football. It is going to change, and I can't stress this enough, it's going to change the type of athlete they can get to go to their school. You know, those players, let's say they want to go to Miami or Florida. They're now going to want to go to UCF. UCF does a great job where they get 3-star athletes. You might now have a chance to get the 4- and 5-star athletes if you can recruit. And you got a coach in Gus Malzahn who coached for a decade in the SEC, coached in a national title game. Not a made-up one, an actual one. That's what's going to be exciting. And then on top of that, if you love basketball like I do, you're going to have Big 12 basketball in your backyard there at the stadium. You're going to have Kansas, Iowa State, Oklahoma, like all these great basketball programs as regular opponents there at the stadium. It's the ACC, the Big 12. I mean, that is also going to be awesome. So that's what gets me really excited. I really didn't care that they beat BYU because it had nothing to do with the playoff. Nothing. Had no implications whatsoever. The stupid Northwestern Michigan State game I saw, those people playing real football and they're trash. And that's what gets me excited. It really does. I'm so happy football's back. I'm so happy. I could not stand June, July, and August. They were super boring. I hope you enjoyed this show because, yeah, the content was not that cool. But now we're in cruise control till about the Super Bowl. That's what, yeah, this is good. I can just put in cruise control. I can just drive my car. We can talk football every single day. Oh, I love it. I really do. And I want to give a shout out. And I taped something for TV. You're going to see it tonight, News 13, Spectrum Sports 360. I gave a shout out. I'll do a shout out here on the air as well. We have a really good high school football teams in this area, and I'm very proud of the student athletes and how, they go to college, they play big time college football, and some of them even actually make it to the NFL, which is pretty awesome. I want to give a shout out to Rockledge football because there is a student athlete at the Florida State University named Jayshon Corbin who got Florida State going in that game. What did he do? Like an 89-yard touchdown run? Took it to the house. He's doing some wildcat. He had about 15 carries for 144. Built right there in Rockledge in Brevard County. That's pretty cool. That was awesome. And the minute he did that, I was like, oh, I'm on Twitter. I'm like, Rockledge football. That's really cool. I know he went to A&M, then transferred. Like, it's a cool story. I'm going to ask that when Alan Slaughter-Zinski joins us at 4 o'clock today live. He does a great job with Brevard Sports Network covering high school football. I'm going to ask him about that. That was really cool. Don't worry, we got to get to the Gators. They took on a cupcake in Florida Atlantic. We'll do that with Andrew Spivey at 4:30. I know, if you're a Gator fan like me, we're getting ready for Bama in 2 weeks. This is very key now. I know they're going to Tampa to take on South Florida, but honestly, I could run for 100 yards in that game. We're getting ready for Bama in 2 weeks. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. So don't worry, we'll talk Gators as well today. But coming up next, let's talk UCF to the Big 12. Is it going to happen? I'm ready. Eric Lopez, Black and Gold Banneret, he joins me next. And by the way, it's great to be back, and welcome to the Madhouse.